In this episode, I'm taking a look at another 4 inspired by fragrances from the house of KDJ Inspired. We're based in Bolton in Lancashire, which, if you're watching this video in another country, is a large town in the north of England. All 4 of these fragrances are brand new addition to the brand's rapidly growing library, and these 4 travel sprays were very kindly sent over to me for free by the guys over at KDJ Inspired, so I could just kind of try them out for myself and give my honest feedback on them. But this is not a sponsored video, and I'm not being paid to promote their products in any way, so if I don't like any of these, I'll definitely say so. So to find out which expensive luxury fragrances these are inspired by and how accurate they are to the originals, stay tuned to this episode of Mags Frags. Yes, hello again everybody, and welcome to this latest episode of Mags Frags. My name's Paul, and backed by very popular demand, I'm again reviewing 4 fragrances from the house of KDJ Inspired, who produce some really affordable and accurate reproductions of very expensive designer and niche fragrances. And like I mentioned in the intro, the guys at KDJ did actually get in touch with me just to see if I'd be interested in just trying out a few of their new and latest creations, and after being really impressed with some of their other stuff that I've tried in the past, I jumped at the chance to sample a few more. But I didn't have a clue what they were going to send me, and it was quite exciting to open this little surprise package just to see what was inside. They've also supplied me with a unique discount code, so if any of you guys out there want to try any of these fragrances out for yourself, you can use my unique code, which is Paul10 at the checkout, and you'll get yourself 10% off site-wide, and that's all year round, and it's just a little gift for viewers of the channel. And I've actually posted a direct link to their website down in the description. Okay, so let's get straight into it, and the first one that I'm going to talk about today is inspired by 100 Silent Ways from the house of Nishane, which the original of this came out in 2016. And the top notes are tuberose, peach and mandarin orange. In the mid we've got gardenia, jasmine and orris, and the base notes in this are vanilla, sandalwood and vetiver. Okay, so the original of this is absolutely delicious smelling, with lots of fruity peach and mandarin orange up top, but it's the peach that stands out to me the most, and you're not going to fail to recognise it. It's not quite as dominant as what you get in the likes of Tom Ford's Bitter Peach, but it's definitely a very prominent note that you are going to definitely pick up on from the initial spray. This is blended with some creamy vanilla and also some sweet, delicate florals, including tuberose and jasmine and gardenia. And based on those notes alone, you are going to get elements of the scent that may come off smelling a little bit feminine, especially if you enjoy more earthy or animalic type fragrances. It's basically a sweet, fruity, smooth and powdery aroma in the first half of its life, but it does change over time the more that it dries down, and you will notice that there are some earthy notes that come through in the base, like the vetiver, the orris and also the sandalwood, which just balances everything out, in my opinion. It just reins it in from becoming overly too feminine. I think it's absolutely fine for guys to wear without any issue whatsoever, except for any cavemen out there or Neanderthals who might just need to approach this one with a little bit more caution. I actually tested this side by side with the original yesterday, and there's virtually no difference from them apart from in the opening, where, as is the case with almost all copycat fragrances, you do tend to get a bit more alcohol from the initial spray, so you may need to just give these a few minutes to settle down. But apart from that, it's absolutely smack on in terms of its accuracy, and I couldn't tell them apart after the dry down. The performance is also surprisingly really good because, like I say, this has a softer scent character with more of a fruity, floral, powdery kind of texture, but yeah, it sticks around on skin for hours and it projects really well. It's a little bit of a room filler. It's definitely going to get you noticed. It's a unique and interesting fragrance that I don't think is too challenging, and I think most people are going to really enjoy how it smells. But you're talking £180 for a 50ml bottle of the original, whereas you can pick up one of these 10ml travel sprays for about a tenner, and you can just give it a few full wearings just to give yourself an idea of what it's all about. This is a really good one, and I would say it's ideal for kind of the spring and also the autumn time. Okay, next up is one that I shamefully had never smelled the original of, and it was only when this one came through the door that I decided to make a bit of a beeline for it on my next shopping trip, and I did manage to try it out and be able to do a bit of a side-by-side comparison with this copy version. This is inspired by Taborom Millésime by Creed, which very rarely gets mentioned in the fragrance community and kind of flies under the radar a bit. It came out in the year 2000, and the top notes in this are tangerine and bergamot. In the mid we've got ginger, and the base notes are tobacco, sandalwood, ambergris, leather and patchouli. Yeah, so in stark contrast to the first one that I've just talked about, this is a classic gentleman style fragrance, which opens up crisp and bright with the bergamot and tangerine, producing like a sparkling and zesty and energising blast of freshness. But it's not long before the notes of ginger, tobacco, leather and patchouli join the party. And then what you get, for the most part, is a fairly light smelling fragrance with a bit of a spicy kick. And as it develops, it does transform into more of a warmer, spicier aroma with a bit of a mild smokiness and also a hint of like a sweet leathery undertone. It's kind of like the majority of all Creed fragrances that are mainly clean and fresh smelling, but also have a bit of an earthy and rich base layer. And I think Creed do classic gentleman's fragrances a little bit better than most other fragrance houses. And for me, this is a no-nonsense classic aromatic fougere. And I did purposely double down on the word classic because it does have that kind of retro vintage quality about it. It's not the most unique smelling scent that I've ever got my nose on, and I don't think I'll be rushing out and splashing £245 on a bottle of the original anytime soon. However, this one does smell really good, and it's a perfect autumn fragrance. The KDJ inspired version smells very close to the original and captures the overall essence, and I would say that this one is slightly more synthetic and just comes off a little bit more oily than the original when you're up close to it, but in the air there's kind of not much of a massive difference. In terms of performance, I found the original one only lasted about 4 hours on skin before I could no longer detect it, whereas I could still smell this one for 5 or 6 hours after I'd first sprayed it. I would say that this is a really nice, well-rounded and versatile fragrance that smells clean and classy, and definitely one that I think that you should maybe just try out for yourselves, because I think it's a bit of an hidden gem. Okay, so the third one today is inspired by Meteor by the house of Louis Vuitton, which only came out a couple of years ago in 2020, and is classed as a citrus aromatic fragrance. The top notes in this one are Sicilian orange, bergamot and mandarin orange. In the mid we've got pink pepper, neroli, black pepper, nutmeg and cardamom, and the base note in this one is Java vetiver oil. Okay, so as you'd expect from that list of official notes, this one does open up very citrusy, and there's also a fairly large dose of neroli, so you get a fresh and zingy introduction with, dare I say it, a little bit of a shower gel type uplifting soapiness at the beginning. It smells very wet and aquatic, but there's also this green accord in here, but it's not like a green grass type smell. It's more of a wet seaweed or an aquatic plant type greenness, as well as having a bit of a spicy edge also coming from like the nutmeg, the cardamom and the couple of peppers that are listed in the note breakdown, which I would say just makes it quite unique and gives it quite an interesting smell. It's always easy to dismiss fresh aquatic type fragrances as being simple and generic, but I'd say that this one does have its own unique character, and it does smell quite luxurious for a fragrance of this type. It's an out and out summer fragrance, and it remains fresh throughout, but unlike some fresh fragrances, this KDJ version does last for a good 6 to 7 hours with a really good projection for the first couple of hours, and it's a little bit of a room filler, to be honest. I didn't think it was a big projector on me at all on the few occasions that I've worn it, but then a friend of mine put a little bit on, and it was really super strong in the air when you're not actually the wearer, and it just cuts through the air like a knife. it's super clean and fresh smelling, but after a couple of hours it does transform slightly into more of a niche smelling, like a spicy ambery type scent profile, whilst retaining some of the salty aquatic tones also. I really like this one, and I can imagine that I'll be rocking the hell out of this on the hottest of summer days, and it's one that I recommend that if you are looking for something a little bit different to put on your next shopping list. Okay, so last but very much not least, this final one in today's episode is inspired by Diorama from the Christian Dior Private Blend collection, which is a powdery iris type fragrance from 2018. And this one has a simple 3-note breakdown of powdery notes, iris and jasmine. And true to its word, you just get a simple and delicate kind of floral scent with a powdery texture, which, even though it's claimed to be for men and women, to my nose it definitely leans quite heavily feminine, especially on its own. But I think this would be great to layer with like another fragrance, perhaps with more of a spicy or a leathery accord, just to inject a little bit of rock and roll into it, because for me it's a little bit too pink and it's a bit too floral and gentle. And even if I was reviewing this one as an out and out female fragrance, I'd probably still recommend layering it, because it's just I find it just to be a little bit bland on its own. The performance is actually really good though, but that's pretty much what I've found with almost every KDJ scent that I've tested. They all seem to project really well and just stick around for a fairly long time, so they definitely don't shy away from good quality and high volumes of fragrance oil in their creations. Okay, so in summary, my favourite one out of the 4 is the 100 Silent Ways copy, and this is definitely one that I'd highly recommend that you try out for yourselves, and it's definitely the most unique and interesting one out of these 4. Then I'd say the Meteor copy from Louis Vuitton would come in second place, and this is one that I'll definitely be rocking 100% in the summer months. And for me, it ticks all the boxes for what a summer scent should be. It's refreshing and it's super clean. And then I'd say the Taborom Millésime, and even though I think this smells really nice, I think it's a bit too vintage for my own personal taste. And even though I am an old man, I don't particularly want to smell like I'm still stuck in the 1980s, so it is a little bit retro for me. And finally, bringing up the rear is the Diorama copy. For me personally, it's too girly, it's too soft and pretty uninspiring for my own personal taste. But I'd say just give them all a try. These travel sprays are cheap enough to try a few out for yourself, so you just might find the perfect signature scent. So yeah, like I say, just click on the link in the description and head over to the website and see if anything takes your fancy. Yes, so again, that's about it for this overview of another 4 fragrances from KDJ Inspired. But I have noticed a few more new additions that have been added to their website since these were delivered, so I'll definitely be bringing you plenty more from this brand in the near future. There's also another 3 review videos of me talking about KDJ Inspired fragrances in a dedicated playlist on the homepage of my channel, so please feel free to also go and check those out if you're looking for a little bit of inspiration. But coming up in the next episode is a brand new designer fragrance release for 2023, and it should be here in the next couple of days hopefully, so I'm really excited to share that one with you when it arrives, because I think it might be a good one, so keep your eyes peeled for that. And as always, if you've enjoyed this video and you found it at all useful, please don't forget to hit the like button and also to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any more of my future uploads. I've got loads and loads of great stuff coming up in the pipeline, so until next time, thank you very much for tuning in. Stay safe, keep smelling fresh, and I'll see you very soon for another one. Bye bye for now.